Good morning, everyone. Thank you for starting your Monday with News 12. I'm Samantha Crawford.
Love this part. We would like to wish a very happy birthday to this princess, Samantha. Great name, I have to say. We have developing news for you here in the Alert Center. What you're seeing here on my screen is the aftermath of a U.S. raid over in Syria that took out the leader of ISIS last night. The White House saying that Abu Ibrahim al-Hashimi al-Qurashi was in this home you see here.
A witness tells us it was like a bomb went off here on Linden Street. He tells us he was leaving his home when he suddenly saw a live wire snap and flounder on the ground before it set those two cars that you see there on fire.
We saw over a dozen, almost 16 businesses that have already boarded up. I imagine that police departments are collecting a lot of footage. How exactly are they getting it to the district attorney's office? I'm going to be jumping on Facebook Live in just the next 30 minutes to tell you what we've learned this morning and answer any questions you may have.
COVID cases continue to surge here and across the entire state of New York. And believe it or not, officials expect cases to climb even more.
This is a situation that's developing just seconds before we went on camera. We're not exactly sure the cause of it, but water is pouring down this hill across the street here.
What's scary about that is that means that Goldie not only crossed over the Sawmill River Parkway, but also the Thruway, really high traffic roads that she easily could have been hit on.
You said from the very beginning that you were going to run a clean election. You were not going to get involved in the three-ring circus, as you put it. Do you think that made a difference for people?
39.9% says you already got your booster shot, so you're ahead of the game. And then the next highest number we're seeing is no, 26.9% of people saying that they will not get that booster shot.
Well, those holiday gifts that maybe you just didn't love, it's time to bring them back. We have some tips to make sure that you can return those unwanted items.
We're going to have to wait another week to hear what the courts have to say about Mayor Richard Thomas's allegations against the Board of Elections.
Before you go there for your free test, there's a few things you do need to know. News 12's Elisa LaRocca joins us now from the County Center with those details.
You're still getting better, so you're still not recovered. Tell us, what are you still feeling?
The question on many parents' minds is, will elementary students be able to be vaccinated before the school year? What do you think?
Probably October-ish is a possibility, but a lot depends on what the results of the studies are and how soon things get authorized by FDA.
Why do you think it is that kids appear to contract COVID-19 less than adults?
We think it may be their innate immune systems. Children have very strong immune reactions, and it may be that those reactions actually help protect them from COVID-19. We don't know for sure, but it's a reasonable thought.
Where are you right now in your trials for babies?
We are in the process of working our way down in age and dose, and we want to be a little careful as you go to younger and younger ages, and so we do it sort of cautiously and with small doses at first, and then we build up.
Should pregnant women get vaccinated for COVID-19?
Yes. Each individual pregnant woman should speak about it with her physician. We have data from what are called developmental and reproductive toxicity studies, where we test very large doses relative to the size of an animal in animals, and they breed and have pups and all that. Everything looks good there. And the vaccine is being used by many pregnant women now, and so far everything is looking good.
Is there any data or information you have that indicates that the vaccine is making men or women become infertile? Anecdotally, that's a big concern people have.
I've heard the concern, but there are no concerning data. So far the data look just fine for fertility. We are actually doing studies in pregnant women now. We have the animal studies where we look directly at fertility in the animals, and all of that looks good. So that is not a concern that's based on any data that have emerged to date.
And let's just say someone, their first initial vaccination was with the Pfizer vaccine. Should they stick with the Pfizer vaccine for the rest of their life, or can they get Moderna? Could they get Johnson & Johnson?
It's a great question. So what we have data on so far are using the same vaccine, because that's how the studies are designed. There will be studies that not necessarily Pfizer are doing, but are being done around the world. There's some being done in England, for example, where people are testing what it's like to mix vaccines. So I think those data will have to come out and be examined before we can really have recommendations about mixing and matching different vaccines.
How likely do you think it would be that people who are alive today will experience another pandemic in their lifetime?
I'm sorry to say this, but it's pretty likely. These things come along every now and again. 2009, we had the H1N1 pandemic, which fortunately was not nearly as severe as this pandemic. But every 20, 25 years, one of these things comes along.
You got some nice curves. Come on. Play with it. I love looking at them. No. Here, you don't even got to do anything. No.
Who is he?
A police officer.
For what department?
The Peekskill Police Department.
A Peekskill woman who we're calling Jane Doe for her protection came exclusively to News 12 to recount the painful moments when she says Peekskill police officer Michael Agavino sexually assaulted her in her home.
The whole incident
Every time I see you, I'm surprised how big your ass is.
captured on audio tape.
He came here and I got tired of him coming, so I recorded him. He wanted to touch me.
You got some nice curves. I like it, and even these things. I love looking at them. Let me see.
Jane claims he assaulted her not once,
I already took my clothes off for you.
But I want to see it again.
No.
Anytime.
but twice.
No, don't pull down my pants. White girls are bigger than me. No.
Jane says the officer started demanding sexual favors.
After all I've done for you, I saved you getting arrested and all that. You can't even show me.
He said you could either take off your clothes or suck my and that's when I took off my clothes and he started circling around me.
She says he stopped by her home unannounced 4 times since last summer.
When he was here, was he in uniform? Was he off duty? Was he on duty? Do you know?
He was on duty.
So was he in uniform?
Yes.
Did he arrive in a police car each time? Do you know?
Yes.
What are your thoughts that a police officer would do something like this?
I think that it's very wrong, and now I do not trust police officers at all.
For News 12, I'm Samantha Crawford. Matthew Theodore is great at filling up popcorn bags, but talking to people...
What would you say you love about the team here?
That's tougher for him, and he's not alone. That's where the ARC Westchester comes in. They teamed up with different employers, including Zorro's Family Bakery.
You roll it down. See how it come right up?
To help people with disabilities find and keep jobs. They put Matthew in touch with Zorro's, and they realized there's a lot he can do.
They showed me how to use the popcorn machine.
Tibby Guzman with the ARC Westchester says people like Matthew just need a chance.
If the employer says, you know, I do like it, find this person to do really well, but I would like them to train them in this other aspect. Our employment professionals come in and said, don't worry, we can help you with that.
They did the same for William Greco.
I pack bread, I pack cookies. In the beginning, I learned how to do the challah bread.
Greco says to him, it's not just a job he found.
The thing I love about working here the most is it's teaching me to be independent one day.
And what he wants to achieve.
I'm working on my vocational skills and working towards my retirement, saving money for my marriage one day.
It's ambitions like that Zorro CEO says he's proud to muster.
It makes me feel great, and it makes my whole family feel great that we can impact people. They provide us with just as much happiness and ease.
Clearly, that's a two-way street.
There you go.
For News 12, I'm Samantha Crawford.